Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking about Evil Genius's performances at VCT Masters Tokyo. Now, if you watched my previous videos on VCT Masters Tokyo, either my video just going through every team that was in the tournament, or my video talking about my group stage pick'ems and predictions, you would see that I kind of underrated Evil Geniuses going into this tournament. My main thinking behind it was Evil Geniuses, while they were performing very well, there have been a lot of teams that we've seen in Valorant's esports history where, they make kind of a good Cinderella run and maybe outperform some teams that we don't expect them to. But then we get to some really important matches and some really tough matches, and those teams can kind of falter. And we saw that specifically with North American teams last year in both the Guard and X set, where both teams had very strong performances to qualify for the international tournaments that they attended. The Guard with Reykjavik and X set with Copenhagen. They did also make champions though, and they had a good performance in champions, but when they were in Copenhagen, they lost both their matches. And despite being the first seed in North America, they did not do very well. And the Guard previously, they did the same thing. They were the first seed in North America going into Iceland Reykjavik, and then they lose their first two matches, and then they don't look very good, and then they don't make champions. I kind of expected a similar story from Evil Geniuses. Not that this is at all the same team as those teams were, so maybe it was wrong of me to expect that. But I think the main difference between these times and this time is that those teams weren't playing on LAN before the international tournaments, where EG have only been playing on LAN because that's what the VCT is now. And aside from that, other reasons that I was underrating EG was, maybe their group seemed a little bit too daunting for them. DRX being there, Foot Esports looking pretty solid. Coming into Masters Tokyo, they did look pretty good, beating Na'Vi in their EMEA playoffs. And just the fact that they were the third seed from the Americas region coming into this tournament, losing to both Loud and Energy in the Americas playoffs. Lost that last one against Energy 3-1 after defeating them earlier in the bracket. So I just kind of thought that, while they had a really good run in those playoffs, eventually the match is going to run out. And once they play these really top teams, especially in Tokyo, that we might start to see this team maybe look a little bit more regular. And that may still happen. It is still early in the tournament. We have a lot of Valorant to go. But so far, I have been proven completely wrong, and they are looking like absolute favorites to win the tournament. They are looking absolutely insane. So we're going to go through it, and we're going to talk about why this team is doing as well as it has been, and if they can keep it going. So they were the first team from the group stage to qualify for the playoffs. That's not a slight on the other teams that did qualify. That's just how the schedule went, but I thought I would mention it. But what is impressive about that is they are 4-0 in their maps. They have not dropped a single map so far. The rounds are 53 wins to 31 losses for +22. Very solid work from there. They defeated Foot Esports, the number 3 seed in EMEA, and DRX, who were the number 2 seed in Pacific. So two really solid teams. You can maybe make the argument that Foot isn't that good, but they made it here, and they did look pretty good doing it, beating Na'Vi, as I said earlier. And DRX, in my opinion, is one of the favorites to win the entire tournament. I thought that they are due for a tournament win, and I was really hoping this is maybe potentially one of them. They're not the only team that I'm cheering for, but they're one of them. And I just think with how they've been performing at past tournaments and in their own Pacific region, that they may be able to, qualify for playoffs and do really well. And they can still qualify for playoffs if they win today. I'm recording this video about half an hour before their match against Foot, so we'll see what happens there. But just the fact that Evil Geniuses was able to beat a team that I think are favorites, and that I think other people also probably think that, at least think that they would have good performances and be able to beat a team like Evil Geniuses. But Evil Geniuses is proving me and a lot of people wrong. And, maybe there's a lot of people that at this point are not surprised at how well they've been doing. And I'm not as surprised as I was before, because they did look very solid coming into this tournament. But again, I just didn't know if the magic would be able to last, and if we were really going to see this team do as well as they have so far. I really expected DRX to take that one. I am shocked that they lost that. But DRX just made them look not very good at all, They didn't even get to 10 rounds won in that match. Only Foot was able to get double digits in round wins against them so far. So they're perfect on maps 1, and they're really good in rounds 1. So I doubt we'll see the undefeated on maps streak continue for very much longer. Maybe the next couple of matches they, continue to dominate and do very well and not drop a map. But overall, I don't expect a Sentinels Iceland Reykjavik type run where they don't drop a map at all. That was very early in Valorant, but now we're in the kind of weeds of the esports scene, and we don't see that kind of dominance happen as much. So I am expecting them to drop a map, but so far they've been perfect, so that's what we're talking about right now. And just to go through the stats of the individual players and just to show that this team is not just being carried by Demon One. This team has an all-around very good structure and an absolutely incredible team effort. They have great coaching, they have great IGLing, they have great depth. Every single player is playing nearly to the top of their game. It's been a joy to watch. I did see some people in the chat during the match against DRX saying that Demon One was carrying, and wow, he performed extremely well during that match, but it has not just been the Demon One show. This team is looking all around just incredible. So we're going to go through each player's stats, and I did it by VLR rating this time. I got a comment saying that I should maybe use that set instead of ACS, but I decided, why not both? At least for this video, that's what we're going to do. It's kind of weird with statistics in terms of esports. It's hard to always gauge how good players are doing, but the VLR rating seems like a pretty good way to do that, so that's what I used here. So let's go through it. So to top off the list, we have Ethan, who sits at the very top of the VLR rating for this entire tournament so far. Granted, there haven't been a ton of matches played yet, so that will change, I assume. But Ethan is a player that definitely is playing like he has something to prove. He was on that 100 Thieves roster that did very well in Berlin in 2021, but since being dropped from 100 Thieves, hasn't really found his footing too much. He was on Energy last year, and then he got dropped, and then he got picked up by EG, and then it looked like maybe this team isn't going to be very good, and look where they are now. Currently, he has 67 kills, 47 deaths for 51 assists, plus 16 on the kill-death differential. His KD ratio is 1.34, his average combat score is 211.3, and his VLR rating is 1.22, which again, at the time of recording, is atop of the entire tournament. So he's been the best player just in general according to that rating. And Ethan, playing like an experienced player, he does have more experience than some of the other players on this team. And this team being pretty young was kind of a part of my concerns. Not that young players don't do well in esports, it happens all the time. A lot of players are very young, but I was thinking that maybe they won't be able to match the same experience for this kind of tournament that a lot of the other teams have. But so far, that has not been a factor at all. And yeah, Ethan's just been great for them so far. He wasn't looking like incredibly dominant during the regular season or during playoffs. Like good, solid player, but nothing like being the best on the team, which at least according to the VLR rating, that's what he is. And then we get to their IGL in Busio, who has been extremely impressive so far. He tops the team in kills with 81, 54 deaths, 12 assists for plus 27 on the kill death differential, which that is crazy. I mean, there are a lot of IGLs that are known as very good IGLs, but don't get a very large amount of kills. Notably FNS, also Sadak isn't usually a super huge fragger, but Busio is proving that you don't have to be a jet player to get a lot of kills. He has been fantastic so far. And what's been really impressive to me is just the chemistry that he seems to have with Demon One. Demon One has chemistry with the entire team, but especially with Busio, like you see them paired up a lot, you see them push sites together, and you just see these two guys just work together extremely well, and that's been very important. This team has very good chemistry. They all seem to be friends, they all seem to be just having a blast out there, and it's just showing in their play, and it's just been an incredible thing to watch. Busio's kill death ratio is 1.50, which is atop of the team. His ACS is 248.3, and his VLR rating is 1.20, second on the team. And then we get to Jogamo, who has also been playing pretty good. He has 64 kills, 55 deaths, 22 assists for plus 9 kill death differential. He has a KD ratio of 1.16, which is second lowest on the team, but he's not the fragger guy, so you don't really need him to be doing that, but he still has a lot of kills with 64, so not really a ton of complaints. His ACS is 218.3, and his VLR rating is 1.16. And yeah, Jogamo's been great. He's a really good flex player. He's been playing different agents. So far, he's just played Raze and Omen, and he's been great on it so far. He's a very versatile player, and they're lucky to have him. And then we have the man of the hour, Demon One. So this is what I was talking about in terms of him not just carrying the team, because he is second lowest on the team in terms of VLR rating. That is mainly because his first game against Foot, he didn't do very well. He was last on the team in terms of that rating. And while he had a good amount of kills, he also died a lot, at least during the one against Foot, but he made up for it in the match against DRX, but we'll get to those matches later. He has 66 kills, 50 deaths, 20 assists for plus 16 kill death differential. His KD ratio is 1.32, which is third highest on the team. His ACS is 219.5, and his VLR rating is 1.15. So yeah, it hasn't just been a one-man show like some people may have been thinking or saying. He did have an extremely good game against DRX, especially on Ascent. My god, he was just unstoppable on that map. DRX just could not figure him out. It was just an absolutely stomping performance by Demon 1. So yeah, I don't think it's just him carrying, but Demon 1 has absolutely been extremely influential in the comeback of Evil Geniuses, and he's been one of the main reasons why they've had the resurgence that they did, both during the regular season and during playoffs, and now during this tournament. So they're very lucky to have him. He might end up being hailed as one of the best Jet players in the world after this tournament is done. That will depend on how the rest of the tournament goes, but now he is absolutely a player to watch, and I think every team should be scared of this man. Last on the list, we have Calm, who maybe you would want a bit more out of him, but again, he's not the player that you're really looking to for a high amount of frags, so it doesn't matter too much if he isn't getting a ton of kills, but we'll go through the stats. He has 48 kills, 51 deaths, 36 assists for -3 kill death differential. KD ratio is 0.94, so that is the only negative on the team. His ACS is 174 even, and his VLR rating is 1.06, which is last on the team, and that's about 0.10 points lower than Demon 1. So you would probably want a little bit more at a Calm, but as I said, he's not really the guy that you go to for a lot of frags, for a ton of trades. You know, he's just there to be your depth player, be either initiator or controller is what he's been playing so far. So he's been good in those roles, so I'm not going to take anything away from him just because he is lowest on the team in terms of rating. And then we look at the individual matches that these teams have had so far. So first we're talking about their 2-0 win over Foot. They took the first map, which was split 13-5, just looking absolutely dominant during that performance. They won the first 4 rounds, and then they lost 1, but then they won 2 more. Lost 4 in a row, so it looked like maybe Foot can get back in this one, but then they ended off the half with the win and then just steamrolled them from there to take it, not giving Foot any ground on their attack side. So good performance there. And then we have Lotus, which was more of a nail biter. It did go into overtime. They took that one 14-12, doing quite well there. Foot did manage to get a lead during that one 3-2, but then it was pretty even for the rest of the first half. It was 6-6 at the half, and then EG did win the pistol round, won a couple more, but then Foot Esports did have a pretty good 5-round win streak there, looking like they could take that map, but then EG just dominance. They won 5 in a row, took the map in overtime. And just to skim over the individual stats of that map, Ethan had the rating of 1.31, ACS 222, 34 kills, 24 deaths, 24 assists, 4+10 kill diff differential. Bustio was 1.23, ACS 271, 46 kills, 30 deaths, 8 assists, 4+16. Calm was a 1.13 rating, 191 ACS, 29 kills, 26 deaths, 16 assists, 4+3. Jogamo 1.02, 28 kills, 29 assists, 8 assists, -1, ACS 196. Demon 1, bit of a sloppy performance by him, but he would absolutely make up for it in the match against DRX. And he didn't perform terribly either. He did have a +1, 30 kills, 29 deaths, 6 assists for +1. Rating of 0.95 and ACS of 193. And then we have their match against DRX. Again, it was a 2-0 win. They started on Fracture, which is EG's best map, so bit of a rough one of DRX to not ban that one. Maybe they were confident that they could take it to Evil Geniuses on there, but they were wrong. Evil Geniuses started out very strong. They won 5 in a row. Then when it was a little bit back and forth for a bit, DRX did manage to get 2 in a row, but then Evil Geniuses 3 in a row, lost 1, 3 in a row, took the map pretty handedly there. Then we have Ascent, which was a bit closer with a 13-9 win over DRX. But even though it was closer, a lot of it just seemed like Evil Geniuses was just running away with it. It was just a crazy map. Evil Geniuses was getting kills through smokes like it was nothing. Demon 1 played incredibly well on that map. He even played Brimstone for Fracture, which was kind of weird, but it worked out in the end. And yeah, they just dominated on Ascent. His jet play was just crazy. Him and Busio just showing great chemistry there. It was a bit concerning to me, at least, when they died by the bomb, where they won the round on attack, but then they ended up dying to the bomb, which was, you know, not something you want to do. But they laughed it off and recovered. But I was thinking that, oh wow, if they end up losing this map, that's going to be a round to look back on. But it just doesn't matter because they just won the whole map. Looking through their individual stats, Demon 1 does top off the list with a rating of 1.35, ACS 247, kills 36, deaths 21, assists 14, 4+15. Jogamo is second when it comes to rating. He has a 1.29. His ACS was 241, kills 36, deaths 26, assists 14, 4+10. Bustio's third on the list. He played Killjoy for that entire time. 1.16 rating, 226 ACS, 35 kills, 24 assists, 4 assists, 4+11. Ethan had a rating of 1.13, ACS 201, kills 29, deaths 23, assists 27, 4+6, a lot of assists for him there. Then Calm at the bottom of the list with a rating of 0.99, ACS is 157, kills 19, deaths 25, assists 24, -6. So again, negative performance, so you would want that number to be better, but it doesn't really matter. He still played at least okay. And yeah, that was just an incredible performance by Evil Geniuses, beating one of the top teams in the entire tournament, beating yet another team with an 8-1 record during the regular season. They just seem to do really well against teams with that record, aside from Loud, of course. But yeah, it was just crazy. I was not expecting them to take that. I was thinking that if Evil Geniuses does make it past groups, then they'll probably do it after losing to DRX. But no, they proved me wrong, absolutely, and they're just looking incredible. They're looking like they could absolutely be favorites to win the entire tournament. I'm not exactly picking them to win the tournament just yet. I'm waiting to see what the bracket looks like. As of recording, the bracket is not out, so we'll see. I think that'll be the main factor in what happens to this team. We'll see who they're paired up against. I don't know if I see them beating Loud. I see them beating Energy again. I think they can absolutely come back from that. Liquid, I could see them beating Liquid. I think, you know, they were the top seed in EMEA, but they were most of the time in third place during the regular season. If they play Fnatic, I would probably take Fnatic to win that one, but it, again, kind of dicey. If they play Paper X, yeah, I could see them taking Paper X. I could. Paper X really solid, but I mean, if they can do what they did to DRX to Paper X, I see them doing pretty well. So we'll see who they're paired up against. We'll see what the matchups look like. They'll probably be announced, you know, within a day, so we probably won't have to wait long. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how this all shakes up for them. But they're looking really good right now. They got to feel good about their placements right now. So in terms of going from the worst team in the Americas region to winning the first international tournament after the regular season, that might be one of the best stories of Valorant so far, if not the best. But we'll see if that ends up happening. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. Please click the like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Evil Genius's current rise to power in the VCT, and if you think they are favorites to win the tournament. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!